A loud crash echoed through the crowded diner as an elderly black man hit the concrete sidewalk outside, his tray skidding across the ground while hot coffee soaked his jacket. Laughter erupted from the doorway as the young man who had shoved him folded his arms with smug satisfaction, convinced that nobody would dare challenge him. Every customer froze, every conversation died, and for one painful moment it seemed as though dignity itself had been thrown onto the pavement. Then, from across the parking lot, a polished black sedan stopped. Its door opened. A decorated four-star general stepped out in full dress uniform. The moment his eyes found the man on the ground, he snapped to attention, and raised a perfect military salute that left everyone watching speechless. If you believe kindness is stronger than cruelty, forgiveness is greater than revenge, hope can change lives, and second chances matter, please take a moment to like this video, leave a thoughtful comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel to become part of our growing community that believes compassion always wins. The town of Ashbrook was the kind of place where everyone believed they knew everyone else's story. It was a peaceful community filled with brick storefronts, family-owned businesses, and neighbors who greeted one another by name. But hidden beneath its friendly appearance was an uncomfortable truth that many had learned to ignore. Some families carried influence that seemed untouchable, and no family held more power than the Harpers. Police Chief Roland Harper had served the town for nearly 25 years, earning respect from many citizens while quietly allowing his only son, Trevor, to believe that rules were suggestions meant for everyone else. Trevor had grown up hearing people praise his father. Teachers overlooked his mistakes. Coaches excused his temper. Local officers laughed at his rude jokes instead of correcting them. By the time he reached his late 20s, confidence had transformed into arrogance. He believed respect was something people owed him simply because of his last name. That bright Saturday afternoon, the diner was overflowing with travelers, local families, veterans gathering for lunch, and workers taking a break before returning to their jobs. The cheerful atmosphere disappeared the moment Trevor barged through the entrance complaining loudly about waiting for a table. Near the front window sat an older black man quietly eating a simple meal. His clothes were clean but worn from years of use. His silver hair framed a calm face marked by age, wisdom, and countless experiences. He carried himself with remarkable dignity, though few people paid attention to him beyond a passing glance. His name was Curtis Ellsworth. Curtis had arrived early, ordered the least expensive meal on the menu, and spent most of his lunch smiling politely at the waitress who remembered him from previous visits. He thanked everyone who crossed his path. He never demanded attention. Trevor noticed only one thing. He wanted Curtis's table. Without asking politely or waiting for staff assistance, Trevor marched across the diner and demanded the seat. Curtis gently explained that he had nearly finished and would gladly leave in a few minutes. Those calm words somehow fueled Trevor's anger even more. Customers watched in disbelief as Trevor grabbed Curtis by the arm, yanked him from his chair, and dragged him toward the entrance. Plates crashed to the floor. Chairs scraped loudly across the tiles. Several people stood up, wanting to intervene, but uncertainty froze them in place. Curtis never fought back. He simply protected his head as he stumbled outside. When Trevor finally shoved him onto the sidewalk, he laughed loudly enough for everyone inside to hear. Someone whispered that Trevor was the police chief's son. The word spread through the diner like cold wind. Fear replaced courage. Nobody wanted trouble. Nobody wanted to become the next target. Curtis slowly gathered the scattered pieces of his lunch without saying a single angry word. There was sadness in his eyes, but there was no hatred. Just then, the black sedan arrived. Out stepped General Harrison Caldwell, one of the nation's most respected military leaders. His chest displayed decades of distinguished service, and every movement reflected discipline shaped by a lifetime of sacrifice. The general looked toward the entrance. His eyes immediately widened. Without hesitation, he walked directly toward Curtis. Every soldier knows there are moments when respect outweighs rank. General Caldwell stopped only a few feet away, stood perfectly straight, and offered Curtis a flawless salute. Silence consumed the entire parking lot. The general then carefully lowered his hand, stepped forward, and embraced the older man like family. Many people assumed Curtis must have once served under the general. The truth was even more remarkable. Years earlier, during a dangerous humanitarian mission overseas, then Colonel Harrison Caldwell had been trapped with several wounded soldiers after a devastating explosion destroyed their convoy. Communication failed. Supplies disappeared. Rescue seemed impossible. Curtis had not been a commanding officer. He had been a civilian engineer volunteering with an international relief organization. Ignoring enormous personal danger, Curtis organized local volunteers, repaired damaged equipment using almost nothing, and helped carry injured soldiers through miles of hazardous terrain until rescue helicopters finally arrived. Military reports praised the bravery of countless service members. Curtis asked for no recognition. He quietly returned home. General Caldwell never forgot the man whose courage had saved dozens of lives without firing a single shot. The general helped Curtis stand, brushed dirt from his jacket, and thanked him once again for showing the world what true courage looked like. Trevor's confident smile disappeared. People inside the diner began realizing they had witnessed something far greater than an ordinary disagreement. The waitress who had served Curtis started crying softly. An elderly veteran slowly removed his cap. Several customers stepped outside, ashamed they had done nothing while injustice unfolded before their eyes. Chief Roland Harper received an urgent phone call while attending a regional safety meeting. Witnesses had already recorded the entire incident. Videos were spreading rapidly online. He rushed back to town expecting another misunderstanding involving his son. Instead, he found Trevor standing pale and silent beside the diner while General Caldwell comforted Curtis. For the first time in many years, Chief Harper saw the consequences of every excuse he had ever made. He remembered each complaint he had dismissed. Every teacher he had ignored. Every neighbor he had quietly persuaded not to press charges after Trevor's reckless behavior. He suddenly understood that protecting his son's reputation had slowly destroyed his character. General Caldwell never shouted. He never threatened anyone. Instead, he spoke calmly about honor. He explained that uniforms never create integrity. Titles never create character. Power never creates respect. Only choices do. Those words reached far beyond Trevor. They reached every person standing nearby. Chief Harper looked at Curtis with tears forming in his eyes. He apologized not as a police chief trying to protect public image but as a father realizing his greatest failure had happened inside his own home. Trevor remained silent. For perhaps the first time in his life, nobody cared who his father was. Nobody admired his confidence. Nobody defended his actions. He finally understood what genuine shame felt like. Days passed. The story spread far beyond Ashbrook. Many expected lawsuits. Others demanded punishment. Curtis surprised everyone. He declined interviews. He refused revenge. He asked only that the community use this painful moment to become kinder toward one another. General Caldwell publicly praised Curtis's humility, reminding audiences that heroes are often ordinary people who quietly choose compassion when bitterness would be easier. Trevor struggled deeply with guilt. He stopped visiting places where people recognized him. He replayed the security footage repeatedly, unable to believe the cruelty reflected back at him. Eventually he visited Curtis alone. His confident posture had vanished. His voice shook. He admitted that he had become the kind of man he never wanted to be. Curtis listened patiently. He did not excuse what happened. He did not pretend the pain never existed. Instead, he explained that forgiveness never erases consequences, but it allows people to begin building something better than yesterday. Those words changed Trevor more than any punishment could have. Over the following months, Trevor volunteered at local shelters, helped elderly residents with home repairs, assisted community food drives, and quietly apologized to several people he had mistreated over the years. Many remained skeptical. Curtis encouraged patience. He believed real change could only be measured through consistent actions, not emotional speeches. Chief Harper also transformed. He established stronger accountability within his department and openly admitted that leadership begins with accepting responsibility rather than avoiding it. His honesty inspired renewed trust throughout the community. The diner itself became a symbol of healing. Customers who once looked away during injustice now promised themselves they would never remain silent again. Employees placed a simple framed message near the entrance that reminded every visitor that respect costs nothing but can change everything. General Caldwell returned several months later for another lunch with Curtis. This time there were no cameras. No crowds. No headlines. Just two old friends sharing coffee and smiling about ordinary life. They spoke about grandchildren, gardening, old memories, and the importance of leaving the world kinder than they had found it. The waitress noticed something beautiful. Trevor quietly paid for every customer's meal that afternoon before slipping out the back door without asking for recognition. Curtis smiled gently because he understood that genuine redemption rarely arrives with applause. It arrives through humble choices repeated day after day. Before we reach the end of this story, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a meaningful comment telling us what lesson touched your heart the most, or share a moment when you witnessed kindness overcome pride. Your words may inspire someone else who needs hope today. Years later, people in Ashbrook rarely remembered the shove that sent an innocent man onto the sidewalk. Instead, they remembered the salute that reminded everyone what true honor looked like. They remembered that greatness is never measured by authority, wealth, or family influence. It is measured by humility, courage, compassion, and the willingness to lift someone up after they have been knocked down. Curtis proved that dignity cannot be stolen by cruelty. General Caldwell proved that respect belongs to character, not appearance. Chief Harper proved it is never too late to admit mistakes. Trevor proved that even a deeply flawed person can choose a different path when confronted with truth instead of hatred. Their lives became lasting reminders that hope often appears when everything seems lost, forgiveness can break cycles of bitterness, and one courageous act of respect can transform an entire community. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. May we all choose kindness over pride, courage over silence, and compassion over judgment, because the smallest act of respect can become the beginning of someone else's second chance.